Hi everyone. We've been studying the book of Ezekiel. So far we had a vision that Ezekiel saw of God, letting him know that God was everywhere, even with the captives in Babylon. Today we're going to look at another vision, the second vision of Ezekiel, where he's actually lifted and taken to the city of Jerusalem. This vision starts in chapter 8 and goes on through chapter 11. But today I want us to look at chapter 9, which is a key chapter. And as we read it, I want you to notice the key components of this chapter. Chapter 9. Then I heard him call in a loud voice, "Bring the guards of the city here, each with a weapon in his hand." And I saw 6 men coming from the direction of the upper gate, which faces north, each with a deadly weapon. Some translations say battle axe in his hand. With them there was a man clothed in linen who had a writing kit at his side. They came in and stood beside the bronze altar. Now the man in linen, or I call him the man in white, he had a clipboard-like instrument that held his writing implement. It held a sheet of papyrus, and it held 2 pots of ink, a red and a black ink that had to have water added to them to enable him to write with them. So we have here 7 men, 6 carrying weapons and 1 carrying a writing implement. In verse 3, now the glory of the God of Israel went up above the cherubim where it had been and moved to the threshold of the temple. Now, what do you think God is getting ready to do? He's at the threshold of the temple. He's getting ready to depart the temple. He's starting there at the temple itself. Then the Lord called to the man clothed in linen who had the writing kit at his side and said to him, "Go throughout the city of Jerusalem and put a mark on the foreheads of those who grieve and lament over all the detestable things that are done in it." And so this man in linen, his job was to go and mark the forehead of all the people who loved God and followed his commandments. It's a parallel to Revelation, where the angels are told to go among the people and mark the foreheads of the pure in heart. And as I listened, he said to the others, "Follow him through the city and kill without showing pity or compassion, and slaughter old men, young men, maidens, women, and children, but do not touch anyone who has the mark. Begin at my sanctuary." So they began with the elders who were in the front of the temple. Then he said to them, "Defile the temple and fill the courts with the slain. Go." And they went out and began killing throughout the city. While they were killing and I was alone, I fell face down, crying out, "Ah, sovereign Lord, are you going to destroy the entire remnant of Israel in this outpouring of your wrath on Jerusalem?" He answered me, "The sin of the house of Israel and Judah is exceedingly great. The land is full of bloodshed and the city is full of injustice. They say the Lord has forsaken the land, the Lord does not see. So I will not look on them and pity or spare them, but I will bring down on their own heads what they have done." Then the man in linen with the writing kit at his side brought back word saying, "I have done as you have commanded." So we have the people in Babylon, kind of safe in exile, although they long to go home. And we have the people left in Jerusalem, who are now separated, the pure from the evil. And this continues in chapter 10. Chapter 10, I looked and I saw the likeness of a throne of sapphire above the expanse that was over the heads of the cherubim. The Lord said to the man clothed in linen, "Go in among the wheels beneath the cherubim. Fill your hands with burning coals from among the cherubim and scatter them over the city." And as I watched, he went in. Now the cherubim were standing on the south side of the temple when the man went in, and a cloud filled the inner court. Then the glory of the Lord rose from above the cherubim and moved to the threshold of the temple. The cloud filled the temple, and the cloud was full of the radiance of the glory of the Lord. The sound of the wings of the cherubim could be heard as far away as the outer court, like the voice of God Almighty when he speaks. When the Lord commanded the man in linen, "Take fire from among the wheels, from among the cherubim," the man went in and stood beside a wheel. Then one of the cherubim reached out his hand to the fire that was among them. He took up some of it and put it in the hands of the man in linen, who took it and went out. So there's an implication here that the man scattered the coals over the city of Jerusalem. And of course, we talk about walking through fire, being purified with fire, and the things that happen to us that bring us closer to God, even though we have to go through the fire to experience that. Now Jerusalem is being purified. And then we're going to skip down to verse 18 because there is a continuation, a repetition of the initial description of the vision, the initial vision. So we're going to go to verse 18. Then the glory of the Lord departed over the threshold of the temple and stopped over the cherubim. While I watched, the cherubim spread their wings and rose from the ground, and as they went, the wheels went with them. They stopped at the entrance to the east gate of the Lord's house, and the glory of the Lord of Israel was above them. These were the living creatures I had seen beneath the God of Israel by the Kabar River, and I realized they were cherubim. Each had 4 faces and 4 wings, and under their wings was what looked like the hands of a man. Their faces had the same appearance as those I had seen by the Kabar River. Each one went straight ahead. So now the Lord has left the threshold of the temple and has moved to a gate, the east gate. And then next week, as we read chapter 11, we're going to see the Lord depart from Israel altogether. And Israel is left vacant except for the good. So the judgment of the Lord came upon the people in Jerusalem who were left. And it's a bad day for everyone. Blessings.